So good morning and a very warm welcome to the first annual conference on economics and public policy organized by the Jindal School of Government and Public Policy. So the next couple of days promise us engaging policy conversations as we have an exciting lineup of close to 50 presentations with three distinguished speaker addresses. So without any delay, I would directly jump into the conference program. And to initiate this conference, we are delighted to have among us Professor C. Rajkumar, the Vice Chancellor of OP Jindal Global University, and Professor R. Sudarshan, who is the Dean of our school. So I would like to request Professor Rajkumar to deliver the welcome address to the participants of ACEP 2021 and initiate the conference. Over to you, Professor.
Thank you very much, Shivani. And first of all, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you to this annual conference on economics and public policy hosted by the Jindal School of Government and Public Policy of OP Jindal Global University. It's such a personal delight for me to be here for a number of reasons. First of all, I think there's no better way to end the sort of first semester of this academic year, particularly when things are slowly coming to a close in terms of our academic session. And I think it's a perfect time for scholars both within India and around the world to discuss and debate about some of the key issues relating to economics and public policy. The second reason why I'm very excited about this conference is that I've always wanting to have JSGP take a lead on doing an intellectually engaging event as an annual, reflection of the kind of cutting edge work that has been taking place on economics and public policy for a long time. While JSGP has had many conferences, lectures, workshops, and seminars, this has the potential to be one of the leading intellectual events of the calendar year. I think I'm very happy that we are starting off with the first conference now. And I hope that you will continue to create an opportunity for people from different parts of the world and in India to contribute to this conference. Third, when I was very pleased to look at the intellectual diversity of the participation of the people in the conference, both in terms of paper presentations, universities represented, scholars, and diversity of themes that are being discussed. All of that augurs well for the seriousness of the event. In a way, the issue of economics and public policy is at the heart of what we are facing today in the world. There is not a single issue, be it the pandemic, including the larger healthcare and health sector crisis, the challenges of education, and of course, the looming threat imposed by environmental factors and climate change. All these matters are somehow directly and indirectly connected to issues surrounding economics and public policy. I do believe that the discussions that the conference will have in the next couple of days will bring to a sharper focus on some of these themes as well. I also want to suggest that it is also time for developing a serious research agenda that will mean that young scholars, both within JSGP, but also others established scholars in JSGP and other parts of the world, start working towards making impact through their research. I think for a long time, we in the academic world have lamented about the fact that we are not taken seriously by the policymakers and the government organizations and ministries and others, at least in the context of India. But I think it is also equally fair to say that we haven't done much to be taken seriously as well. And I think it's important for us to end up pursuing path-breaking research that will ultimately be useful for the people who are engaged in policy making, but also people who are, engaged in responding to complex challenges. So I am personally very delighted that this conference is happening now. And I would like to extend my deepest congratulations to the Jindal School of Government and Public Policy, including its Dean, Professor Sudarshan, and also the faculty members, yourself, but also other faculty members who have been part of this effort. Lastly, I want to say that there are two things which I would like to put it into your mind as particularly Shivangi and the organizers, faculty organizers. One, as a general standard operating procedure, I would like to recommend in the future, if not now, that these conferences should lead to a kind of a scholarly publication, an edited book, a collection of essays of some kind, which will potentially, and I hope it's a Scopus publication, it will help all the scholars to have a serious outcome. The second will be that some of the research that gets generated out of it can also contribute towards the Jindal Journal of Public Policy, which I think there is a case for its revival. It had some fantastic issues in the past, but this could be an opportunity to revive that issue, and both can happen together. So with those words, I would like to congratulate each one of you for the conference and wish the conference every success. And thank you very much for making me part of this.
Thank you, Professor Rajkumar. I mean, thank you for your motivational words. I mean, of course, it's like it goes without saying that this is a work in progress, and we'll make such attempts in the coming future. So I would now like to call upon Professor Sudarshan, who is our dean, to say a few words and initiate the conference. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chancellor. It's true that you urged us by setting as an example the Jindal School of Banking and Finance, which began with organizing an international colloquium and setting itself to place itself on the annual calendar as an annual event that people could look forward to. And so we are following that example. But I must particularly record my thanks and appreciation to Shivangi and Geeta, to all my colleagues who have the responsibility to do this. And I must say that they put in a lot of work. And in the planning of this conference, it's been nice for me as the dean not to be drawn in on details. So I have to particularly say that discovering the final program, all done by my colleagues and done to my great satisfaction, without taxing me and my time, is remarkable. And I think this is the way forward, that my colleagues are competent and they take the responsibility to organize a conference on this scale. And so it's really good. And the idea of having some distinguished speakers interspersing the sessions is innovative. The dates of this conference, I must say, though, overlap with that of an annual event in the Indian Statistical Institute, which starts its conference today and tomorrow, and that's an annual conference. So despite that, to have such a fantastic lineup of papers for this conference is remarkable, because there is always some competition from some quarter or the other at this time of the year, just before people close and go on breaks. So I'm very pleased with that. I'm also delighted, as you mentioned, Vice Chancellor, that the papers must have some practical consequences. So if it was a purely economics conference, that one would expect a good number of theoretical papers that are of interest to those in the discipline, that advance the frontiers of the discipline, so to speak. But this is a conference in a public policy school. And therefore, I think if you looked at the papers that are being presented, they're all dealing with very practical problems. And so that's something that's noteworthy, because all of the proceedings of this conference are of public policy significance and value. So I want to underline that point. And I want to particularly mention that it's thoughtful of the organizers to invite someone like Bezwada Wilson, an activist in the Safai Karmachari Andolan, to be one of the distinguished speakers, which is a signal that we have to find advocates for policy proposals. And activists like Bezwada Wilson struggling on causes of social justice and elimination of injustices to particular population groups, bringing them into an academic context is very important. And we need to establish more such links between activists and academics, so that our advocacy agenda in public policy can be advanced. And so in addition to Bezwada Wilson, we have Bhramar Mukherjee from the University of Michigan as a distinguished speaker, focusing on the theme of building a pandemic resilient future. Now, this is of some concern, because right now we are facing an emergency in education. But unfortunately, in the political agenda, education and the emergency that it faces is not prominent. None of the leading speakers in the political class in this country have spent time or attention on what to do about children who've lost 2 years of education, and then there is a need to completely revamp the curriculum, because if a child in class 3 at the start of the pandemic is now taken into class 5 with no thought given to what needs to be done to enable that child to cope with the syllabus in class 5 is a matter of great concern. And so one of the things that academics in association with activists ought to do, and conferences such as these ought to produce the consequence, is to bring such issues to the political agenda. Otherwise, it's been a sad fact about India that human development, education, and health have never been, or even poverty has never been a major theme in any of the elections. We boast that we are the world's largest democracy, but except for 2 elections, one 1971, when Mrs. Gandhi split the Congress party and came up with the slogan of abolishing poverty, Garibi Hatao, and then the election after the regime of Mr. Vajpayee, which went on the campaign, India is shining, and the electorate answered that India is not shining. Except for these 2 general elections, the poverty economy has not been an electoral feature. And right now, with the elections coming around, we see that other concerns of national pride, nationalism, culture, sovereignty, Atmanirbhar, all of these feature in the political agenda, but crucial matters such as how do you build a pandemic resilient future is not a theme in any of the discussions. And so we need to do our bit as an educational institution to ensure that crucial public policy concerns are addressed, and they are complex. And having mentioned that they are complex, it's a noteworthy feature that in this conference, we have a session devoted to complexity economics, which is a emerging field in economics, and which is intended to tackle issues of uncertainty. And so the general classical assumption that there is a price at which markets might clear, something like an equilibrium in one or the other factor markets, is no longer seen to be valid in reality. But on the other hand, it's not very clear what will exactly substitute for those classical foundations of the discipline. But public policy poses a challenge in that respect to economics, because policymakers are confronting situations where there could be unintended consequences of policies which are not anticipated when the policy is formulated and implemented. And there's problems that are inherently imbued with uncertainty. So you don't really know, how to tackle them, if there's a solution at all for the problem, and what you might do in those circumstances. So I must say that I'm grateful to my colleague Naresh Singh, the Vice Dean, and Sudhir Patra and Milindo Chakravarti, and others to take the initiative to explore this frontier field in the subject, but with the point, with reference to its public policy implications. And so we have a good set of scholars from around the world and from India addressing this. And so this is so if you look at the agenda of most conferences, in economics and public policy, of course, they would have similarities and overlaps, but one distinct feature of this particular conference is the focus on complexity economics. And then we have important issues related to public health, related to the pandemic. The next session indeed is about the first one is on the COVID and the economy. So we hope that the papers presented here could be collated and edited, as the Vice Chancellor suggests, in a volume, and we would have some follow-up to this conference. It also is a great way of advancing our interest in, as a global university, in making connections with scholars around the world, and nothing is better than participating in a conference alongside our faculty, who are contributors and moderators of different sessions, to establish those ties. Otherwise, these links remain academic in a sense of that word, which means it's not practical. But if you actually have participants from around the world taking part in a conference, then that is a kind of bonding that promises advancement in other avenues, including joint research and joint publications that we would all like to see. And so I'm very, very pleased that we've got this wonderful conference off, the first one, and I'm sure that we'll make this an annual feature. And when we do this, we would have to look at the calendar of other institutions and make sure that, say, it doesn't overlap with the conference organized by the Indian Statistical Institute, as is happening now. And there are some lessons to be learned in this experience. So I'll end with congratulating my colleagues in the General School of Government and Public Policy and our staff, Manimala and Lalit, for helping us kick off this conference this morning to last over today and tomorrow. So thank you. And over to you, Shivangi.
Thank you, Dean, for your kind words. I think we are right on time in terms of our program. So let's wait for a couple of, or let's wait for 5 minutes so that all the participants for the next session join in, and we'll start the first session and the conference accordingly.
Yeah, I'd like to see Geeta put on a video so that we can
Yeah.
say everyone knows who's
I think
responsible.
she might be. So we have shared responsibilities. She might be busy calling up the rest of the participants.
Yeah, I had a phone call, couple of phone calls. I was doing that.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. So if you'll permit the Vice Chancellor and me, we'll sign off now and sign in again when the session begins.
Okay, sure, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Sure.
you.
All
for
right.
your
Thank you
time.
very much.
Thank you.